This boy absorbs the powers of his enemies and becomes stronger. Manhwa begins with the teacher explaining something apparently ancient, how a bear that transformed into a human manages to join a thriving bear clan. Then there's the tiger that couldn't transform into a human and join the defeated clan. He says they take these stories that actually happened and call them myths. The class ends, and we see John, our protagonist, sleeping in class. A girl named Yunsajin comes to ask him why he always sleeps in school. Then Aegon asks why she always bothers him at school. Young asks if something happened to Aegon. Aegon says he can't see well out of one eye, but it's probably nothing. We see Agent leaving school and telling us that suddenly, one day, he had the ability to see other beings hiding as humans. And these beings do everything in their power to go unnoticed as normal humans. Later, beings in the form of a snake attack Aegon and leave him immobilized on the ground. And when Aegon was about to die, he sees a tiger approaching. The tiger transforms into a human and tells Aegon to hold on a little longer. The tiger starts fighting the snakes and manages to win. Chapter 2. A week has passed since the fight against the snakes, and Ajan doesn't understand. What happened? We see the tiger living with Agent in human form. Agents start to think that this could be the tiger from the mythology they talked about at the beginning of the manga. But the tiger says he doesn't even know what they're talking about. Suddenly, the tiger notices that Ajan is wearing a collar. Ajan says his mother gave it to him. Then the tiger asks Agent to wear this collar all the time, as some terrible things are about to happen. In a change of scenery, we see Jean at school. Suddenly, a new student is transferred. His name is Yango. Our protagonist notices he is immediately one of his most distant things. Yango has problems with bullies at school during break. The bullies take him to a more secluded place, and when they start intimidating him, Yango does something to one of the bullies. He possesses him and causes havoc, throwing chairs and tables. Aujin, Haejin's friend, notices this and starts running to tell Aegon what she saw. Just before Sigyn can tell Aegon what she saw, Hong Kong appears behind them, preventing Sigyn from speaking. But Yangu stops him, controlling his body. Yangu immobilizes Aegon, one of the 3 gaddies in Hong Kong, telling him he can't do this to the kid. So Yangu, tired of hearing what he should do, grabs one of the guys and kills him. Then Yangu takes control of Haejin's body and starts choking him. But Ajan's body reacts and starts absorbing Yango's power. Ajan manages to break free from the hypnosis and hits Yango. Then, to avenge what he did to Sijuan, Aegon continues to hit Yango until he finally sends him out of the building, killing him. After that, we can see how Yango's power begins to absorb Ajan. Ajan tries to escape by running, but he still absorbs him, and he falls to the ground. When the tiger arrives and the other 2 guys recognize him, the tiger watches the scene and sees Ajan lying on the ground. The tiger comes down and stops the 2 guys who wanted to flee. After threatening them for a few minutes, the guys tell the tigers who they work for. They are the Night Demon cult. We see a change of scenery, and we are at a party. We see a woman named Nuna with many agents talking about the tiger and Ajanx. Nuna says that the tiger can break her seals, but she doesn't know how. We see that there is an infiltrator in a VIP suit listening to the conversation. Until he is discovered, Nuna starts fighting him, and he decides to fight back. The infiltrator escapes the guards and goes out into the street with Nuna to fight. Nuna tries to hit him, but the infiltrator dodges everything. The infiltrator counterattacks, and Nuna discovers he is a 9-tailed fox. We change scenes, and we see other agents in a car saying there is someone in the Black Dragon Club. They ask their boss if they should move, and the boss agrees. We see Jean dreaming with Sijuan as he says and then our highs, and then he suddenly wakes up. The tiger says he must go back to sleep, it's early. Aegon says he can see beings since he was little, and his mother said he shouldn't be afraid, they are friends. The tiger is curious and asks where his mother is now. Agent says she's deceased and gave him this collar. His mother told him to wear it all the time because it's a guardian spirit. Then, out of nowhere, the tiger says he will have to visit his mother. We change scenes, and we see Luna fighting the 9-tailed fox again. They realize they are being watched, So the fox takes advantage of this and escapes. Nuna chases him, and after various escapades, she finally hits him. At that moment, a woman arrives in a limousine and notices them both fighting. Nuna says it's the second time she's hit someone in the face and still keeps her footing. Now we see that the nine-tailed fox can fly and throws fire at Nuna. After a brief conversation, Nuna asks him what he wants. The fox says he wants to ask some questions to his boss. And at that moment, the agents from the limousine arrive and start threatening them, asking them to put their hands up. Nuna runs away, and the agents realize she is not human. But the fox says he wants to know, and he asks them to stop her. We see a camera recording the interrogation that the agents will have with the nine-tailed fox. Here, it is revealed to us that this manga takes place in the 1970s, Carl era. The idea saying he was born in 1971, and the agents say it was impossible for him to be. A year for him to realize the ID was fake. After a few questions, he stops responding and shows them he is a nine-tailed fox. And he says that not only humans live in this world. In a new scene, we see someone pretending to be human again by seeing how some bullies are. Go mistreat a child. The bullies see him and start bothering him, so the being hits one of them and asks. The others leave. Now that we are back with the agent interrogating the fox, the agent doubts if he truly is a nine-tailed fox. And the fox says that every creature that has always been thought to be a myth had crossed dimension to be on Earth. But he says that Ohika didn't know, it was different, and each of them live among us. The agent reveals to the foxes that they are investigating the demon cult. And they know that from today, Nuna's name is not human. The agents asked what would have happened if they had shot in that situation. So the fox replies that he would have caught the bullet and reveals his real name. The fox says Nuna's real name is Kodarak. And now, at the same time, we see Kodarak entering a place and talking to someone who offers him a drink. Where we left off before. We see Shadowwalk talking with what? It seems to be his boss, and the boss says that the government is already involved in this matter. The boss says she should visit a guy. He hands her a piece of paper, hair rock leaf. Her boss starts talking to someone unknown on the second floor. The boss says that Kodarak is like his char. Furthermore, the booze reassures that one day Kodarak will meet the person he's talking to. In a new scene, we see the same mysterious being from the last chapter hitting more and more. Mole bully. And suddenly, Red Hair arrives. The mysterious being tells Shadowwalk that they are of the same species. Shadowwalk tells them to stop that. What are the talks to be had? 2 days pass, and we see the tiger alongside Heijin. The tiger says he should visit Heijin's sea. Heijin, confused, asks what he's talking about. The tiger explains that he was locked in this collar for 5,000 years. And the tiger needs to know what happened during those 5,000 years and also needs to know how Ajin ended up with this collar. Otherwise, the tiger says it would be very hard to love this world. Agen questions the tiger about the powers that emerged while they were fighting against. Young Agent says he doesn't know how to redo that. The tiger says he doesn't know. No. But the tiger declares that Agen is human, but not common. The tiger thinks it has something to do with how this collar ended up with him. Agen now wonders if he is now an alien like the tiger. But the tiger thinks that's not what it is because aliens recognize each other. And as he says that, the tiger feels that something is wrong. He senses someone else's presence on the train, and out of nowhere the same mysterious being who hit the bullies appears. The tiger tells Agen to quickly get off the train. We see the tiger trying to escape the train with Ajan. But the mysterious being intercepts them and starts fighting. The tiger here is not ashamed of attacking humans. So, the mysterious being says not at all, in fact, that the boy and his target referring to Agan. The scene changes, and we see Shadowwalk relaxing. Then an agent arrives asking who was the being he met the other day. So Shadowwald asks if he's ever read a Korean fairy tale. The agent says that at least he recognizes Umbunalbu, and Kodarawak asks him if he thinks he's an elf. The scene changes, and we see again the tiger fighting against the being that seems to be an elf. So, after 2 powerful blows, the tiger leaves him on the ground. The tiger starts celebrating, saying he's too cool. Aegon tells him to be careful, and at that moment, a train crushes the tiger. Aegon is left alone on the tracks. And out of nowhere, the elf appears and tells him to go together. Now we see a flashback where Herr Rock hires an elf asking him to bring junk with. The elf is surprised by what she asks. Kodorok explains that Ajan is not important, but he is with someone very strong, so the boy is probably someone even stronger. We return to the present student and disappointed, as Agent shows no powers. So the EF hits him and asks if he's not hiding his powers. But Aegon just tries to bite him, so the EF hits him again. We see the tiger going back into the tunnel looking for Ajan. Student drags Ajan on the ground. Aegon, angry, wonders why everyone is attacking him. What did he do to deserve it? That? And suddenly, Ajan's eye glows and turns purple. The confused and shocked heir watches without understanding what is happening. While the tiger is on his way, he feels the energy like that of another stranger, and realizes it could be Aegon. Aegon controls the elf's body, just like Yongo's powers. And out of nowhere, a train appears, and fortunately, the elf moves successfully to save his life. The tiger arrives and says to the elf, "How dare you attack him?" In a change of scenery, we see Sutter walk with his boss arriving at what seems to be a laboratory. The scientist calls these beautiful Samujis, so that's their name. The scientist realizes it's the first time he meets Shudderwalk, so he introduces himself in the role of Yateo. Shudderwalk is surprised because she never thought the scientist would look like that. Wateo mentions that he extracted a blood sample from Heijin and injected it into a test. He says it's beyond his expectations. He asks them to take a look at the statistics. In the test subject, resistance, physical recovery, reaction time, etc. But he mentions that there is a problem before the subject absorbs something or gets C. Statistic, his body returns to normal after 24 hours. Wateo says all of this is very impressive. He has been investigating for over 2000. He has never seen anything like this. The subject wakes up and shows great hatred for Emoji. The subject breaks the cell and decides to attack. So Shudderwalk intercepts him, hitting him first. Finally, Emoji ends up burning the test subject. Emoji says indeed he is not a god, but he will defy God. In a new scene, we see the tiger with Ajan in a boat. Aegon remembers the fight against the elf asking why he had stopped him, says the tiger. That he is dangerous. And to be honest, he needs to go home. During 1. Kodorok is informed that the elf failed, and Emoji says he will go after the tigers. In a new scene, we see Aegon with the tiger arriving in Heijin's hometown, Flower Island. Heijin enters the island and realizes it's quite different from what he remembered when he was little. He finds his house and sees that it has been burned down. The tiger notices a tomb that says Goddess of White Flowers and asks Aegon, "Let's start." The mother was. Aegon says she was a well-known and respected shaman, even outside the island. But the strange thing is that he doesn't remember how she died. And when he tries to remember how she died, a strong headache comes. The tiger notices someone following him. And out of nowhere, a mysterious being stands behind him and says that a man's back is everything. Aegon remembers it was from the past that also said something about the back, and it seems Aegon was very close to him. And the tiger asks who he is. The mysterious being asks him to show his power. They start fighting, and after fighting a bit, the mysterious being tells the tiger that he is quite agile but lacks strength. So the tiger starts scratching him again and again, and the mysterious being says he's just tickling him. The mysterious being falls to the ground, and out of nowhere, he summons a giant totem. The mysterious being says that now, they will witness who he was. 2. Aegon realizes that this being's name is Hodama Jussi, and he feels they had already been together, and knew his mother. Jussi tells Aegon that he missed him so much. Then they go to Agnes's place, and see his mother's altar. Aegon, talking to Agnes, asks for a favor to tell him how his mother died. Agassi recounts that one night, lightning struck their house while a man watched. Everything justified a flashback where we see Ajan's mother talking to Jessie about someone claiming to be a dragon, and will have the strength of a dragon, and she's not sure if she can't stop him. Then little Ajan arrives, and his mother gives him the collar. She says that this collar has been passed down from generation to generation and that he must wear it always because it will protect him wherever he is. Jessie and his mother were aware that they could awaken the tiger. Then Aegon asks who is this man pretending to be a dragon, and Jessie reveals that he is his mother's enemy, Imuji. The chapter ends when Imuji pursues the serpent from the chapter. Imuji asks if it was him who awakened the tiger, and where is he? Imuji talks with Kodarok from a long time ago, about the bear tribe and the tiger tribe fought for the rights to rule this land. But Imuji mentions that part of the human species doesn't know. He mentions that the person who led the war was the chief of the tiger tribe, the god of the East Sea War. Lemusi mentions that after the tigers lost the war, the tiger's name completely disappeared. And Chedorok notices that the guy he's looking for, the tiger, is precisely him, god of the East Sea War. Emoji says yes, and that the Night Devil sect was the one who released the tiger. Seal. Emoji says that if he wakes him up, it's because they want to use him. That's why Emogi must stop them. In a new scene, we see the tiger and Justice training to juggle. Days and weeks go by as they train. Until the day when Ajin tries to focus to control his powers, he tries to leave his past behind. Until suddenly, he begins to remember what he had forgotten and how his mother died. There is a man mentioned before who was the chief of the bear tribe. And a little appears crying as he watches his burned home. At that moment, Aegon awakens immense power and tries to attack the tiger at Jussie. And Jussie, seeing that he can absorb powers, realizes he has a secret technique, the one the chief of the Ursaf tribe just said that it is an ability that can absorb powers of aliens or the dead. Let the bearer have them for his own. The tiger realizes that if that's the case with Hagen, then Hagen is the only survivor of them, the bear tribe at that time. Eventually, Aegon manages to return to normal after remembering his mother. For Jussie and the tiger are sleeping when suddenly guys arrive and try to kill them. We see Aegon training near the house, and two other feeders led him. Aegon doubts, he doesn't know what to do, fight or escape. Now we see the tiger and Jussie. And we see that the woman has the ability to regenerate, and the other has brute strength. The tiger asks if they were subordinates working for the devil sect. And the woman says no, it's a group of assassins in charge of 7 people. At that moment, the tiger realizes it's a trap so they can kidnap Jean. We see Jean and he fights against his guys, and just before he stabs him, he remembers Yongu's ability that he absorbed. After focusing, he manages to use it, taking control of their bodies, reversing the course of the battle. 5. The two guys realize why Emoji wants Ajan's powers. Now we see the tiger and Justice's fight, and we see that the woman made a mistake thinking the tiger was an alien, so she used a combined attack. Now we see to date, and after a moment of fighting, his body gets tired and one of the guys takes advantage and chains him, leaving him immobile. The other guy disagrees with this because he wants to kill the boy, but he wants 8 alive. We change scenes again, and we see that the tiger and Justice tried to aim at the woman. Blow because even though she has the ability to regenerate, she is still an alien, and she will die if he cut off her head. We can see the two guys with ads and it features to fight each other. One of them wants to keep the boy alive, and after thinking he has won, he immobilizes with poison from the other guy. The other guy used the poison effect and cut his tendons so the guy couldn't move his arms, and he captures Aegon. 6. We see the tiger and Jussie manage to kill the two guys. He sees Aegon absorbing his powers. We see these two guys who are with the junk. The one with poison on him was immune to the poison. He releases a more powerful form, and he finishes off the other guy. But he forgot something. Killing the other guy automatically absorbs Aegon, his powers. Then a fight begins. Aegon manages to defeat the other guy with a rain of eggs, the soul and Aegon burying a knife in him. And then the tiger and Justice arrive, and they can't believe what they see. 7. In this scene, We see the effect of thinking about how Agent let him escape to protect his family. At that moment, Emoji arrives and asks if he knows where Aegon and the tiger were. The elf says he doesn't know because he lost all trace due to his injuries. Emoji says he will take his entire village, all the strangers. The wing transforms and tries to attack him. He wouldn't let anything happen to his family. Emoji says that's the problem. He is a stranger from another dimension. And he has no family. We see a flashback with the elf leading his village, and it seems he was loved by everyone. We even see that he has a partner, Mukwa. Further on, we see that one day, humans attacked and killed many people in his village. The elf and his partner managed to escape, and we can see them walking in the snow. We can see how his partner aged rapidly. Just before dying, she asks him to continue being a hero and to protect their village. Now, in the present, the ELF tries to attack Emoji with all he has. Emoji stops him and leaves him unconscious. Emoji asks to be taken away because he was useless. And Kodarak asks what he should do with the village. Emoji burn it down. 9. We see the fox with the undercover police officer on White Flower Island. And confused, he thinks Agassi is the tiger. Agassi discovers them, asks who they are. In a new scene, we see Yatail, the scientist, with the new test subject, the ELF. And Yatail, aware of the failure of the assassin squad on White Island, asked Shutterwalk when the boy will be there. Shutterwalk, surprised by Wadeo opposing this information, says not to worry, because Emoji has everything under control. We return to the Withered Flower Island and we see Jussie trying to fight them. Fox saying he tried to kill him the previous night. The confused Fox explains that it wasn't like that, Jussie only wants to fight. So the fox attacks and says it's not the time to fight, please listen. Him. At that moment, the tiger arrives, and the fox realizes he is the tiger, and not Jussie. Aegon also arrives, and he thinks the fox and the agent are from the devil sect. So the fox says they are not, and explains that many strangers have disappeared these days. And most of these strangers were his friends. The fox explains that there are people trying to conquer the world. He says that while he simulates an organized crime network, behind all this, there is a stranger acting as their leader. Emoji. We can see everyone gathered and thinking about Emoji. The fox says the only thing that keeps Emoji away from Ajan and the tiger. Hagen says he will fight to the death. Hages says he won't let that happen, since he witnessed the strength of Emoji, and it's a huge force. There, the tiger and the fox feel that something is happening. Foreign beings break into the house, accompanied by Kodoro Kimuji. Agan is shocked because it's the first time he sees Emoji, his mother's enemy. The fox realizes that all these foreign beings like zombies are his friends. Aegon starts fighting against the zombies, but when he kills them, Aegon realizes that absorption doesn't work. It's possible because Yudo had everything planned, and none of the zombies are vulnerable to the absorption of our protagonist. Then Emoji sees an opportunity and brings the serpent, the same serpent we have seen before. The serpent attacks Agan and says he will deliver Agan to Emoji. But suddenly, the serpent dies, and Aegon absorbs its powers. The problem is that when Agent absorbs it, he also absorbs its poison and is going to kill him. Emoji asks Chodrak to bring up to date. At that moment, we see the fox watching his friends fall, apologizing to one of them for not being able to save him. But Jussie asks everyone to gather to save Aegon. Kodorok rushes to fight the fox, and the angry fox hits her, seeking revenge. At that moment, Agassi takes advantage and grabs Aegon, getting out of there. The fox continues to fight Shutterwalk and sees how Shutterwalk transforms, and she starts attacking stealthily. The fox has no choice but to transform. After fighting a bit against Shutterwalk, Emoji stands behind him. And the fox realizes he no longer knew Emoji. He has been guiding us for 500 years. He says. Emoji says he seeks power in this world, because without this world, he would just be fairy tales. What's the point of respecting humans? The fox, angry about this kind of philosophy, says he can't imagine how many friends he has lost this year, and he starts fighting Emoji. Chapter 22. The fox says that even if he dies today, he will avenge his friends. The fox can't attack Emoji or maintain his transformation. It's because he says he controls the wind and rain, so the fire wouldn't affect him. And so Shadowwalk kicks him angrily. And just as Emoji was about to finish him off, Agassi arrives and tries to take Emoji by surprise. He can't move him, hits him hard. Emoji says he must have been hiding because now he would send him next to that shaman bitch. Yes, he says that. At that moment, the tiger arrives and wants to attack Emoji. But Kodorak intercepts him and says he must go through her first. The tiger fights her and eventually wins. The tigers rush towards Emoji, and Emoji from here remembers him. The confused tiger says no, and Emoji says he was the bodyguard of the bear tribe. And the tiger remembers. Emoji says the tiger was stronger at that time. But now, they will see if he is still the same. We see Emoji transformed and fighting the tiger. After an intense fight where Emoji thinks he has beaten the tiger retaliates with everything he has, leaving Emoji in a bad state. Then Emoji, out of nowhere, transforms and gets another eye on his face. The tiger wonders if Emoji could be an accent. We see a flashback with Agassi and Agen's mother. Agen's mother explains that Emoji will inevitably become an accent. Agen's mother explains that an accent is an evil spirit filled with malevolent energy. We return to the present, and Jussi tells the tiger, or BM, as he calls him. And now, to get out of there. The tiger refuses and decides to fight Emoji anyway. Emoji immobilizes the tiger, but the tiger breaks free, but in trying to attack Emoji, he reads every move, and Emoji lets him be immobilized again. Jussi sees that the fox is fine, but the fox sees Emoji and is absolutely amazed. Emoji, while immobilizing the tiger, attacks. The tiger can't escape because he can only see with one eye, and he has lost the sense. Two perspectives. The tiger takes the blow, and says he has too much blood and no strength. Emoji starts charging another attack to finish him off. And Justice trades to close everything with totems and tells the tiger to go quickly, to leave with the junk. Agassi says he can't take it anymore, he can't see anyone else die in front of him. And suddenly, Agen appears behind Emoji and tries to attack him. Jussi and the tiger watch completely frightened by what Agen is doing. The tiger stands up.